Welcome back to TYT Sports, everybody. Jason and Francis here. So earlier in the week, Lamar Odom, two-time NBA champion and University of Rhode Island alum, and I shouldn't say alum, but played basketball there as a URI alum. That is one of my favorite teams to root for, near and dear to my heart. A truly great person, but often struggled with addiction on and off the court when it came to basketball in his personal life, and then later became a star with Khloe Kardashian and the televised wedding and the show that came on with that. And very sad news that came out of Lamar Odom's story was when he was found at a brothel face down unconscious, including a very scary 911 call, which we can share with you here.
911, where's your emergency? I'm at the love lounge at 300 Alloy for Lane. I just called and they said they were going to send somebody out, but I just wanted to let them know that they need to hurry, please, because he's got blood coming out of his nose, white stuff coming out of his mouth. They can't get him to wake up. He's like almost not breathing. Okay, is he conscious? Excuse me? Is he conscious? No. And he has white stuff coming out of his mouth? And blood coming out of his nose? Okay, but he is unconscious right now, right? Yeah. We're not getting away. Are you with him right now? No, I'm in the office. I'm a shift manager. He's a client. He's in the back apartment. Okay, if you could tell somebody to make sure that he's still breathing and have someone from inside the apartment call me so I can give them some instructions, or if you could take the phone out there right now. Hey, let me see if I can get it on the phone.
Yeah, it's sad news all around. I mean, I've watched a couple of documentaries really quick to touch on him, and I love how they're bringing up the sports persona that's attached to him as well, because, I mean, in the Lakers, as much as Kobe Bryant was the go-to figure with the Lakers, Lamar Odom was often the center of their pre-match rituals before the game, because he was that kind of figure that would help unite the team, and he was just all-round, as you could tell. It was a very worthy person that people were often drawn to, so it's sad to see this, but we want to get an update on what's going on, because apparently there is some I would say not as much still good news around this situation, but there's news that is helping people to continue along to keep the faith that Lamar Odom will return to health and happiness. So we have Evan from
We have
TMZ
Evan. We have
Sports.
executive producer of TMZ Sports, Evan Rosenbloom, here to join with us. Evan, how you doing today?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, great news coming out of Las Vegas right now. We literally just put this up on the website a couple minutes ago. One of the big issues with Lamar was the breathing. He was on total breathing support on a ventilator. But today, earlier today, there were some signs that his heart was making progress, that his heart was starting to kind of begin to beat better on its own. So they decided to try to do a breathing test with him today and take him off the ventilator and see if he could tolerate a mask, which provides substantially less support than a ventilator, just to see if he could tolerate it. Because, they were getting some positive signs. So they tried that test with the mask. And according to our sources, he did well. They were encouraged by the test, which means he was breathing a little bit on his own. Now, they're not going to move him off the ventilator entirely because it's just too risky. His body's in too bad a shape right now to handle moving off the ventilator. It would tire him out. It's challenging to move from that kind of support to a mask. But the fact that he did is a very positive sign. It gives the people around him a lot of encouragement, a lot more hope than they had before. Our sources are telling us that he's definitely not out of the woods. He's still in tough shape. He's got a long battle ahead of him. But at this point, even the slightest, tiniest things are great.
Considering all the bad news that we've heard coming into this is truly the first great news regarding Lamar Odom, or at least promising news, considering the fact that we know that there was a ton, I shouldn't say a ton, like 10 pills of sexual enhancement drugs, Viagra most likely, that was in his system, including cocaine, alcohol, and again, from the 911 call that we heard before, it's a very scary moment for somebody who stated when he went to the brothel in the first place, I just want to get away. And look, we all sometimes need to get away from lots of different things that are going on in life. When it gets to that point, and you see so many other sources, including like Magic Johnson and Byron Scott, Johnson, the ex-great Laker, and Byron Scott, head coach of the Lakers, coming out and saying, he's the type of class act that bought rookies their first fitted suit for the NBA. He was always somebody who was great at helping other people's problems, but he could never seem to hold his own and help himself. So this truly is great news. Evan, I know you have more on Lamar, not Lamar Odom, but the brothel situation in Nevada.
Yeah, well, my question for you guys on this one is, now that brothels are kind of under the microscope now, I mean, because everybody knew they were around, they're legal in Nevada, but they're kind of in these remote places in Nevada. They're really far away. I think the Love Ranch South, where Lamar was at, is like 70 miles outside of Las Vegas. If you look at it on a Google map, you see like the brothel, a bar, a couple of homes, and then if you zoom out, it's like desert all around. There's nothing close. But my question now, because we've been calling some of the businesses in the area, and a lot of them are unhappy with the fact that the brothel's here, and now it's kind of, people are like, well, how does this get legalized? What are they doing? They're kind of just running their own shop. They're not really as regulated as we would like. Is this going to become an issue that's going to be politicized? Do you think that politicians are going to jump on this and make this an issue at the front of Nevada politics?
I mean, I can only speak on behalf of the negative image that having a brothel in your town can bring, no matter what, whether politicians are involved. When it comes to the fact that something is legalized, that undoubtedly attracts a huge amount of drug use, which attracts unethical behavior on more than anything. Like, you can only imagine that those who are involved in the town, especially when something like this happens, it's going to bring a negative light to the town as a whole, no matter what. And also, as you just mentioned there, the safety of it is that it's so secluded. Is that if something like this does happen, we're obviously praying that Lamar Odom returns to health, but the fact that something like this was so out of touch from major, I would say, access points in society, where you could maybe get him to a close by hospital and minimize the troubling things that happen to your body in that time. And I know from reports said that he's too big to have fitted in the helicopter, so they had to transport him through ambulance. So I can only speak on the sheer logistics of that. To me, it's clear that this area is unsafe for something like this. I can only speak from my own opinion and say that, I mean, I don't agree in having brothels anywhere. If it's legalized in that state, then that's an issue that the state has to take up. But looking at how secluded it was, and Evan, the point you made there about how there's just desert life around it, it wouldn't surprise me if some sort of action was taken to assist in preventing something like this happening again in the future.
I agree with that for the most part. Yeah. I would say I agree with that for the most part. I think when it comes down to it, again, in Lamar's case, he wanted an escape, and I don't think there's anything wrong with someone who needs an escape at any point. If you need it, if you feel like things are boiling over in your life and you need to get away, and that's the way he needed to take care of getting away, then in that case, yes. For the other instances, in terms of regulating that type of safety or health risk for other, not just athletes in general, but like as you mentioned, Evan, the image of it, which of course a brothel is never going to come associated with a good or clean image. Regardless, it wouldn't be so fair to just judge based off that one-off instance.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you remember when the Cat House reality show was on HBO. It was like it was a pretty popular show, and it gave the impression to a lot of people that the brothel was kind of like a well-run business with a business structure and real business people. And now you hear, and I feel like a lot of people were like, okay, let them do their brothel thing. It's as far as brothels go, it seems pretty legit. But now you're hearing this story where he was. It's just so sad. He was in this back room, and it took so long to get to him. And then they had. It just sounds like it's a mess out there, and I feel like it's going to become an issue again that people are going to bring to the forefront. And it's crazy, but legalized prostitution in Nevada is kind of a big deal. They have at least 4 brothels that I'm aware of. Probably more. And you got to wonder, at least I'm wondering now, if there's going to be a movement, if they're worried that they're just going to shut the whole industry out. I think given because I think the Europeans right now are probably the most popular ones, that people see this and they think it's a mess. They've got to end this. But the question will be, I think, will they get enough momentum to actually do anything about it, or will they just kind of say,
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you might not know, there might be so many other cases that might have happened similar to this, but of course they don't have the same media attention that is attracted to it because it's not a figure like Lamar Odom. So you can hope that when you're looking for silver linings in horrible instances like this, you're hoping that it can help also to send a positive message to people who are perhaps dealing with depression and other things, that there's ways that you can try and get help. But also, this might be a reoccurrence in Vegas. There might be things like happen like this on a daily basis. There probably is, but they don't get the same sort of exposure that goes along with it.
If John Doe does it, this doesn't become a national headline. No one's going to say John Doe's in the hospital. Look at this 9/11 call. I keep saying 9/11, 911 call that happened. And of course, Evan, as you pointed out, saying that and as you did too, Francis, how far away that these brothels are from Vegas, the 911, they called twice.
Yeah.
There was the original manager who called, and then there was the woman on the tape who said, like, I'm just calling to check in, like, I really need you to hurry, because he's face down, he's unconscious. So that is obviously a major issue within it as well. All right, thanks, Evan, so much for joining me and Francis today to discuss the updates on Lamar Odom. We wish him the best and healthiest recovery, and hopefully we'll see him walking again soon. In terms of how you can subscribe, make sure you go over to TMZ Sports over on YouTube, and they have a website as well, tmzsports.com. As for us, make sure to subscribe for our channel for more sports news, content, update, and fun stuff with me and Francis. Francis and I is what I should say. Like, favorite, subscribe, all the good stuff. Comment below with your thoughts. We'll see you next time.